Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have like a special guest, my client Tristan. We've been working together for the last 6 months, achieved great results, achieved great like body transformation. Also, I think increased like the mental health, right? And you are business intelligence developer. You are from Atlanta. Is that right, Tristan?
That's correct.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe can you introduce, tell something about yourself, who you are, what you do?
Sure. So my name is Tristan. As you mentioned, I'm from Atlanta, and I'm working as a business intelligence developer. So I work with a lot of data, a lot of things involving a lot of mental activity from day to day. So I tend to sit at my desk for very long hours. I also like playing video games, so I'm also sitting down for quite a long period of time. And I'm more of a night owl, so I tend to stay up really late. And because of all that, I tended to not get, the best, habits of exercise, sleep, and things like that. For a good majority of my life, I felt kind of low energy. I felt like, even going up one flight of stairs, I'd be huffing and puffing, kind of getting up there. And I just in general, I just didn't like what I saw in the mirror. It was kind of hard to, get up from day to day and say, yes, I'm accomplished. I feel good about myself. I just didn't have, those things that I wanted. So when I ended up seeing Oscar's advertisements for his services, I ended up saying, you know what, that seems like it fits me. I'm an IT guy. I kind of struggle to get my health under control. I eat out a lot. So I thought, I could probably use some help with this. So he was able to help. And honestly, I've been able to see my mental health improve. I've been able to see my body improve. I feel more energetic. I feel just in general a little more positive. Still a lot of room for improvement, but I do like where I see myself at right now. And that's just only 6 months after I started. I didn't expect to be half this far in a year. And here I am in half of a year, twice as far as I ever thought I'd be. So big shout out to Oscar for that.
Nice, man. Nice, nice. And yeah, can you tell me more about your situation before like starting the program?
Sure. So before I was starting the program, I had been, I went to grad school, ended up getting a degree in mathematics. That it required a lot of intense study. And, when you're in grad school, there's not a whole lot of things that you can get online for help. So it's a lot of things where it's like you have to do it on your own or nothing else. And so there's a lot of pressure to perform. There's a lot of it can be very, very draining mentally. So by the time grad school ended, I felt like by the time I'm ready to get a corporate job, I just wasn't in the best, mental state. And when your mental state isn't in the best spot, everything else kind of starts to fall apart. You tend to go for eating out a lot to try to comfort yourself. You tend to not drink as much water because water's boring. I want something more exciting. I want more caffeine in my life to help me stay awake because I also don't have the energy. Mentally you feel like that you've got a lot of goals, you have a lot of ambitions, but you have no way to fulfill them because again, you just don't feel that drive anymore. And so before I started this program, I think I generally just felt really down about life, really down about myself. I felt like I had no time to devote to the things that I wanted to just to keep myself healthy. I would always try to plan out my schedule. I'd always try to, dictate hour by hour what I'm going to do. And I could never stick to it. So I also was very undisciplined in general because I felt like, well, my time is taken up by work so much that, I deserve time for me. And so I'd stay up as late as possible, 3 or 4 in the morning. And then you have to get up at, 9 in the morning. So you're consistently getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep. So in general, it was just not a healthy lifestyle that it just kind of continued getting worse and worse after grad school. Until I got to the point where I was like, I can't can't deal with this. I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. And I wanted to be able to have some muscle. I wanted to be able to have be able to be comfortable taking my shirt off, in pictures or at the beach, or have that summer ready body. And you know what they say, summer bodies are built in winter. Well, I'm hibernating in winter, so that would hardly ever happen. So that was pretty much the spot that I was in before.
Got it. Got it. And how long you were in that kind of cycle of unhealthy lifestyle, like prioritizing more your work and not your health?
Well, I would say, if we're not going to count school, I would say that was probably since 2017. So probably a good 7 or 8 years. And if we're going to count like college and everything, I would say probably a good 15 years. Yeah.
Wow. So you were kind of like stuck for
Oh
15
yeah.
years, not feeling the best version of yourself. So what was the main reason that you like finally said that the time is now, like I want to do it now? Like what changed in your life?
Well, I would say probably the biggest thing that changed in my life was I realized I had a lot of ambitions, a lot of goals. Um, I was, just starting to get out of a relationship, which was taking an emotional toll on me. I was, starting to try to work a job and then also kind of moonlight as a freelancer. And I also had my own goals. I wanted to be able to make a video game. I wanted to start my own company. My goal was to try to get financial freedom. But in order to get those things, you have to put in a lot of work. You have to figure out your schedule. And so what I did was I said, okay, there's way too many things bidding for my time. So I wrote them all out. And I actually ended up diagramming, what needs to come first, what needs to come second. And when I looked at kind of the whole map of everything, at the very, very start of that map was I need my health to be in place. Because if you're not a good place mentally, not a good place physically, there's no way you're going to be able to have enough energy to start your own business, to be able to get yourself financial freedom, to do all that stuff. You can't do it in the 5 hours of sleep that you're doing right now. You can't do it on 4 ounces of water a day. You can't do it on McDonald's every day, every meal. So what I realized was I really need some help with this. And this is the thing that I need to put all my other goals down and focus on my health first.
Nice. Very well said. I think many people get in this cycle of like that they need to grind, that they have to build like career, family, and once they are like in comfortable position, then they can only prioritize health, right? But when you are to that comfortable place, probably your health already has like tanked. Maybe you have like health issues, gain so much weight that now it's like even harder to like reverse the health issues, right?
Exactly. When you feel good, you do good. And sometimes we end up finding ourselves waiting to feel good before we're able to to do good. To say, I want my situation to improve first before I'm able to do these things, but I don't want to put in the effort. Well, you're kind of in a vicious cycle, and you can't just wait for life to get lucky and get healthy. You have to take those active steps. Sometimes we're at the beginning of the year. I want to go to the gym. You go to the gym and the gym's packed with people. But after 2 weeks, maybe a month, it's almost empty. And that's because so many of us get that motivation high, but we don't realize the discipline it takes, that even when you don't feel good, you still got to do it. You got to do the work. And you just got to keep going no matter what. Focus on inputs.
Some input. Nice. And also before like joining the like program, uh, did you had any idea about like training on and nutrition?
I did have some idea. So I think before the pandemic era, I was actually training with a trainer in person for a little while. And he was kind of showing me what exercises that I would do. He kind of had a plan already built. He didn't have it written down in an app or anything like that, didn't have a diet plan. But it felt good being able to go to a gym and have somebody, kind of show me the ropes and say, this is this is the exercise you got to do. He kind of pushed me a little bit to say, can you do 5 more pounds? Can you do, just a few more kilos, of weight? And, it did kind of push me to get there. I was doing it for about, I think, 3 to 6 months. And I was kind of starting to see like a little bit of results, but, I was starting to feel happy about it. And then COVID ended up happening, but I was kind of surprised. I was like, well, I thought I'd be seeing results faster. And not that this guy did, anything wrong at all. It was probably the most helpful I'd had in my life up to that point. So he gave me some experience at the gym. I knew a little bit about what some machines did, but as far as being able to make my own workouts, I was still pretty clueless. I know you don't want to work out the same body part multiple times in a row, multiple days in a row because you need some rest. And as far as diet goes, I had been diagnosed with high cholesterol since I was little, runs in the family. So I had been kind of used to watching the things that I eat, being, looking at the nutrition facts, knowing what stuff means. But as far as what I needed, that was another question. I know you need protein. I know that you need less fat. Are carbs good or bad? I mean, that's changed over history. Are eggs good or bad for you? What part of the egg is good or bad? There's just, so many opinions out there. I mean, you Google anything and you'll get all sorts of things that everybody thinks they know what they're talking about, and it doesn't leave you in a good spot. So it's like I had ideas, but I was not confident at all in what I needed to do.
Yeah, totally agree as well. Like there's so much information out there nowadays, right? On social media, internet, that it's pretty hard like to choose what actually is working for you, right? And also, yeah, I was also personal trainer in the past, right? Working on a gym floor. And one of the things, yes, as you said, like it's nice that you have that real life connection. Someone is supporting, pushing you, like doing weights. But outside of the gym, you don't really have that connection, right? Or you can keep your clients accountable, right? As you said, you didn't track right, no apps, no probably also diet. So it's pretty hard to see like really full holistic results. Like,
Exactly. And even if you wanted to go to the gym on the off days, if your trainer's not there or you're not scheduled for a session, you're still on your own anyway. So, you could just repeat your exercises, or you could just kind of flounder around until you find your way through. But even then, it's still not great, despite being in person.
Sure. And yeah, Tristan, how's your life different now? Like after like 6 months in the program, what have you achieved?
Well, I would say the biggest thing that I'm really proud of is, when I look in the mirror and I take my progress photos, I am actually able to, start seeing some outlines of abs. They're not perfect yet, but there's still something there. The V shape in my back is starting to appear. Some shadows on the chest are starting to appear. It's no longer, completely flat, like it was for so many years. I am able to, be able to do everyday things like climb stairs or take out trash, without, feeling like I'm completely out of breath or that I'm gonna collapse, right after that. I've got energy throughout the day. I've got more control over my happiness. I've dealt with anxiety and depression for about 27 years on average. And, I would say this is probably one of the first years that I've been able to have a day where I can completely control what I'm feeling. It won't be like that all the time just because life happens, but I feel like that I'm able to, the discipline that I've had, has basically helped my mental health improve so much to the point where I'm feeling better than I ever have in my entire life. And when you're feeling that way, you kind of feel like that you can start accomplishing a little bit more. And so who knows, maybe I'll be able to accomplish some of those goals. Just got to do it a little bit at a time.
For sure. And it's just been like 6 months, right? Like the fitness and health journey, it's not like a sprint. Many people as well think that they just gonna get in shape in like 1 or 2 months and that's it, right? But it's like a marathon, right? Like you have to prioritize it on like almost daily basis, right? Follow healthy food, steps, gym sessions, right? And you want to make it more like sustainable and not like restrict yourself or train a lot, right? When your motivation is high for 2 weeks, and then motivation is gone, and then your also journey is gone.
That's exactly it. That's the big part that I think you mentioned two big parts there that a lot of people miss. Going to the gym is one thing. I see people say, well, you got to train hard, go big or go home. Well, if you don't have the diet to support it, you're just going to be burning muscle the whole time you're at the gym, and you're going to be eating up your own progress. So diet's important, and it's not just diet. You do have to actually go to the gym as well, because your body needs to build something with what you're eating. And then on top of that, it's got to be sustainable. Absolutely. You can train insane or stay the same, but it's got to be sustained. That's how I've kind of heard it said. So absolutely.
Yeah, good that you touch on diet. Wanted to ask you a question, because I think also a lot of people think that they have to really restrict themselves, with super low calorie diets, keto, intermittent fasting, low carb. But in our case, right, we are eating really a lot of food, high protein, and still like able to lose fat and build muscle, right?
Exactly. And I think there's two keys. One is there's so many things that you could focus on. You could focus on a lot of fats, a lot of carbs, a lot of protein, in terms of the amount of focus you put in. It could be, well, I need to make sure I only eat at home, or there's a lot of things that I feel like that are kind of stereotypical with it. But I mean, coming into this as somebody that would eat out, 2 meals a day, 7 days a week, just simply because I was too depressed to cook. I was too depressed and didn't have much energy to do a whole lot here at home. I love cooking. It's an art form to me, but I just didn't have the energy. But what Oscar taught me is to focus on your protein and focus on your calorie intake. The rest will take care of itself. Now, of course, don't go crazy with the fats or the carbs. But your biggest focus should be the protein, generally about, if you're going to be building muscle, about a gram per body weight. And so, I was sitting at about 100 and maybe 90 pounds, maybe 200 pounds. Actually, when I started, it was about 220. And now I'm down to about, 178. So that's about how many grams that I would want to take in per day. And calories, we were trying to build up my weight from 178 because I ended up losing about 50 pounds this year. So we're wanting to build my weight back up to kind of start the bulking phase. I wanted to start eating 2,800 calories, and I thought, oh gosh, how am I going to get this in? Right now, I'm still able to eat out, a decent amount, but I just have been able to find better alternatives. And I think the biggest key was looking at things one at a time. Let's start focusing on the calories. Can we get 2,800 calories in a day? Gosh, I don't know. It's normally a 2,000 calorie diet is what most people recommend. How am I going to get an extra 800 calories in? It's like, okay, well, let's try to fit it in. Even if some of the stuff isn't healthy, let's not beat myself up over it. Let's meet that goal first. I was able to get that goal consistently. So I said, okay, now let's start trading out some stuff. Let's get rid of the donuts. Let's get rid of the cookies. Let's start incorporating, maybe some beef jerky, or, some, maybe a couple more protein shakes in a day, things like that. And then that kind of helped my protein intake get better. And then I just had to kind of fit the rest of my, balance the fats and the carbs a little bit better. Fats are so easy to come by here in the US, whether it's a burger, whether it's a baked good, whether it's, candy, it's dairy, anything dairy related. It's so easy to find those things. So yeah, I would say start small. Again, that's part of the sustainable principle. Start small, do one thing at a time, even if it's not perfect. People like me, I'm very much a perfectionist, but if you can just focus on one little goal at a time, learn not to beat yourself up over it, just give yourself patience and kindness, you'll get there before you know it.
Sure. Nice, man. Love that. Love that. And yeah, what has been the best thing working with me?
Um, I would say the best thing working with you is, I would say there were two things. One, it's being able to communicate with you anytime that I want to. Um, Going back to, how my in-person trainer was, the only time I could really contact him, I mean, we could contact through text, but it was very much, very unguided. There weren't a whole lot of, discussion points. There wasn't a whole lot of community around it. It's just you and that one person's text, and that's it. And you don't know if they want to be bothered with your texts, outside the gym because it's their job. Maybe you probably wouldn't want to hear your boss text you, outside of your work hours, or a client or anything like that. But with Oscar, we've been working through, at the time of this video, is through Slack. And being able to either directly message him, or there's also a community of people out there that he's working with as well, that you can start a group discussion with people. So everyone else that's also going through the same things that you are. There were a couple times out there that I put myself out there and said, hey, I'm struggling with some mental health stuff related to the gym. Does anybody else go through this? And I had people reach out to me saying, wow, yeah, I go through that too. I go through that too. I didn't realize, just how many people that I had things in common with, and that kind of helped make me feel like that, hey, maybe this isn't impossible to do. Other people are going through this too. I've got, if other people can do it, then I can get through it. So I think the communication aspect has been the biggest thing that I've really liked, both with Oscar and with the community that he's provided.
Nice, man. Nice, nice. Yeah, the community has been awesome, like for me, I think that's what also is one of the most motivating things this year, seeing everyone like sharing like wins, trainings, motivating each other. Yeah, because everyone, like also me, I'm like sometimes in front of the screen for like 8, 10 hours, and it feels like sometimes lonely or tough, right? And then you maybe see like someone sharing workout, like even also for me, like I'm all day at computer, then I see someone posted workout and like kind of motivates me as well. Oh, maybe I should also go for a workout or something like that.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. It really does help.
Yeah. But I wanted also to read like this one text what you like sent me in the Slack, which was actually I think one of my also like most favorite moments in like my life. That okay, like that I'm actually doing something that is changing people's lives. And it was like you sent me on a Slack. I just how to share this with you too. For the first time in my life, I feel happy with who I am inside and out, and I'm happy with my life right now. It's not perfect, but that's what it makes it even more amazing. I get to make improvements like getting healthy and fit, and it feels more like art now. It's enjoyable and freeing. Yeah.
Yep. Remains
Can
true today, and probably even more true than it even was before, I would say.
yeah, yeah. Can you like touch on that as well a bit more?
Yeah,
That makes
I
sense.
think I think that being free and kind of feeling more like it's an art form, I think were the biggest things that strike me. Kind of hearing that now, because a lot of times I feel like that when you're first starting the gym, when you're first, I mean, I'm an IT guy, I'm a math guy, I'm a lot more in my head, than I feel like the average person might be, and if you're listening to this video, you might be too. And the idea of being good at athletics, being good at the gym, I could read about it all day. I could tell you, this is what needs to be done, this is how the muscle works, but I always felt like that it was going to take a huge change of habit, a huge change of life, changing like who I am as a person. I felt like that's what I was going to need to do. But when I started getting into it, I realized this isn't as hard as I thought it was. I just have to stay consistent long enough. And when you do that, it kind of just becomes muscle memory. It becomes a part of who you are. And suddenly, not only do you feel better, but now you don't have this huge obligation that you thought you would. At the end of the day, it's just kind of part of who you are now. And so you feel a lot more free than you ever thought that you would be. And you're actually awake and energetic and alive to witness it. You know, you're not super tired. You're not, you know, cluttered up with a lot of this dirty self-esteem issues that you've got, you know, clouding your vision. You feel like you can see things a lot more clearly. You can feel like yourself. And it really kind of gives you a new perspective on life in general that, wow, I not only can I do what I put my mind to, but there's so many things now that doors are opening for me that I didn't have before. You know, maybe I can go run a marathon. You know, maybe I can go, you know, do a weightlifting competition. Maybe I can, heck, maybe I can, you know, be a trainer myself and help other people that were in my situation. There's so many things that you can now do with your life that are creative, that are beautiful, that help other people. And so to me, that's kind of what makes it an art form, is that you can choose how you want your life to go. You no longer are bogged down by a lot of the obligations and lack of energy and self-esteem that you had before. You're free, and you can make life as beautiful as you want from there.
Nice. Very, very well said, man. Very well said. But what would happen if you wouldn't like decide actually to start the program? Like you would stay the same. Would you be okay with that?
Say again?
Like what would happen if you didn't decide to start the program? You know, you would stay the same. Would you be okay with that?
I would say, well, I would say if I were to not decide to start the program, I would probably be in even worse shape than I was when I made the decision. Um, you know, when you have bad habits, they don't get better and they don't stay the same. Things do tend to get worse. Um, it's kind of like a car going downhill. The longer you let it go downhill, the more that momentum is just going to keep picking up and picking up. But having actually started it, looking back, did it, you know, would I have felt the same if I ended up saying no? Absolutely not. Um, I would say that my life has definitely changed for the better. Um, and you know, having if I were to say no, I think it would have been a huge loss for me.
Hmm. Imagine, yeah, can imagine. And what are your goals? Let's say for the next 6 months, next 1 year. What do you still want to achieve?
I think what I would like to achieve is one, kind of just the aesthetic body that I've always, you know, wanted to get. I'm already, you know, a decent chunk of the way there. I would just like to see more definition. Um, I would like to be able to, you know, climb several flights of stairs. And of course, I'm here in Atlanta, so things are very hot. You know, we're in the middle of summer, and even just walking to your car can feel like you're out of breath. Um, but I would like to be able to do things like that, go up a flight of stairs, several flights of stairs, and not even feel like I have to catch my breath. Um, those are two things that I think I'd like to do. I would also like to, you know, see more consistency with what I'm eating. Um, I mean, as we all know, at this time, food is more expensive now than ever. Eating out is more expensive now than ever. And so being able to eat at home more consistently, I think is another big goal of mine. That by the end of the year, I would like to be able to eat at home, you know, all the time. I mean, if I want to go out and get a pizza or, you know, get a drink with friends or something like that now and then, you know, I should be able to do that. But, you know, for the good majority of it, I want to find myself wanting, you know, to eat at home and say, hey, I'm excited to cook, you know, Brussels sprouts and, you know, a good chicken breast and, you know, things like that. Um, yeah, I think those are things that I would really like to see in the next 6 months.
Nice. Love the goals. Love the goals, man. And you kind of like touch already on like yeah, the money part. You know, I think many people think that you know they can buy the newest iPhone, they can go on vacations, maybe like get the newest house, things like that. But when it comes like to their health, like they try to save up on everything. Maybe they don't get the gym membership, they save up on like food products. Even though maybe they are also stuck for like 5 6 months, and they don't want to get like a coach. Do you have any advice to those people?
Um, Absolutely, because that was actually something that I felt for quite a while. Um, Coming out of college, I mean, a lot of us have debt. A lot of us have, things that we're trying to do. We're trying to get, our lives established, our career going. And so money is a really big part of it. We say, well, I don't want to be, I probably, may not, by the time I'm 70, I may not have a retirement plan. Who knows with the way the world is right now. So, I need to try to save as much money as I possibly can. There's, my friends are living this lifestyle that I would love to have myself. They're going on vacations. They got the nice car, they've got the beautiful family that they could provide money for. So I need to save. Or maybe I need to invest my money in, the stock market or something like that. But the thing is, if you don't look at your health first, consider this: if you decide to eat out all the time, if you compare that to groceries, you're going to be spending a lot more money, even just per month, eating out than you would eating at home. On top of that, you're going to be experiencing eventually more health issues down the line. And of course, more health issues means more medical bills, higher medical bills, maybe even a shorter lifespan. Um, and if you're going to be losing all that money later on down your life, if you're going to be losing all those years of your life, what's even the point of saving all that money now? The important thing is that you have to try to invest that money in your health. And it may not be something that feels good at the moment. You may not want to drop money, that much money on something that's going to improve your health. Because you think, well, I'm not even a gym guy. Is this even going to work? But I think you've got to put faith in yourself and trust the process. That's pretty much what life is about. You got to trust the process. And if you put that money in your time is another thing. If you put your wealth in general towards your health, what you're going to end up seeing is you're going to be reaping more benefits, money and time, than you ever thought you had before. So if you want those goals to be fulfilled, you got to make sure you invest in your health absolutely first, before the iPhone, before the vacation, before the nice car, before the thing that makes you feel good, before the McDonald's dinner, before the drinks with your friends. Invest in your health first, and you'll be able to do all that stuff later on more than you ever thought.
Sure, sure. Also very well like said, yeah, because your health is your wealth, right? Like if you don't have a good health, you don't have energy, you're probably tired all the time, so you're actually like losing time, right? Money will always come and go, right? But the time, like, it just goes, right? Like you're getting get older, right? And then you are like always tired, lack of energy, you don't have time for your family, loved ones. Maybe at your work even you like perform not the best, right? But when you are that best version of yourself with good health, like I think you also like are respected more from other people, right? Your confidence is higher, energy levels is higher, so it also like increases your other parts of your life, right? Like maybe you get better position at your work, you spend more time with family, loved ones, so there are like many benefits of just having like a good health.
Yeah, and it takes a lot less time than you'd think, to invest in the gym. It's an hour and a half, maybe an hour, just a few times a week. I mean, how many times do we just sit there scrolling on our phones through TikTok videos,
Mm-hmm.
through Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, posts? I mean, just look at your phone usage time. I think that your phones track that now, and you just take 3 of those hours per week, and you say, I'm going to split that up between 3 days in a week. And I'm going to just put that toward myself. That's my me time. That's my self-care time. Um, if you do that, I mean, that's all I really had to do. I didn't have to spend 20 hours a week, basically a part-time job trying to get healthy. No, it's just a few hours a week. It's not even 5. You could do as much as you want, of course, but time is the other thing that it takes a lot less than you think.
Yeah, and this actually was my next question, because I know a lot of like tech guys, days bound professionals, like think that like this health thing is like super like long, it takes long hours, like that it's like full-time work, because they are already so busy, and then on top of that, like it's gonna be hard. But yeah, you are a busy guy as well, like, so what advice you can give them?
Well, I would say, one, really be honest with yourself and say, what are my priorities in life? We've all got ideas. Oh, I want to start my own, fintech business. I want to start, my own video game company. I want to start, doing this thing, doing that thing. I want to be able to, take computers apart and build them back up, things like that. We've all got a lot of goals. But I think if you sit down with yourself and you realize what your priorities are, 60 years from now, imagine, let's not even say 60 years from now, let's say right now, if you knew that today was your last day on earth, how would you feel about the goals that you've got now? You're not going to be able to do your business tomorrow. You're not going to be able to, hug your loved ones tomorrow. You're not going to be able to get the body you've always wanted tomorrow. Tomorrow's not here. So what are you going to do? How do you feel about your life up to this point? And if you feel like that, I wish I would have prioritized my health better. I feel like I wish I would have, maybe put my goals aside because they're not as important to me. I don't need that car. I don't really need all that stuff. At the end of the day, if you feel like that your health ends up kind of floating to the top of those priorities, then don't disappoint yourself 60 years from now and do the same thing. Start now. And that time will come back to you, just like Oscar had said. You will be able to find more time than you ever thought you could during your day. But you have to prioritize the things that you really, really want. Separate the nice to haves from the I need to haves. Figure out what needs to come first. And it doesn't mean you have to get rid of your goals by any means. It just simply means that you do certain things first. So, keep your ambitions, but realize that this is going to help you get your ambition more than anything else.
Nice. Very well as well said. Yeah, I'm also thinking about that future version, of yourself, like being on. I have heard it many times, like people say it, but that's true. I think many times we don't even think about it. We are like stuck in this like hustle, grinding every day. Thinking about our problems that we don't even think about our future version. Because then we have more time. We are kind of like relaxed, and then we think about like why we haven't done that or that, regrets, and which is, I think, not the best.
Yep. And that's something else too. If you're in a job that requires you to not only work 8 hours a day, but also be attached to your phone, for the other 16 hours a day or whatever, and if you don't do it, then your boss is going to get upset. It may not be a place you want to work for. You maybe need something that's going to treat you better. Because if you're considering taking care of your health, you got to take care of the people around you as well. That if my job is not going to respect my time, how am I going to be expected to respect my own time as well? So that's something to also consider, that your environment will help you build or break your health habits. So
yeah, definitely. Environment is like so important, the surroundings, for sure. And do you have any last advice as well for people who were in the same shoes as you were, who were like kind of trying to build their career, right, and kind of neglecting their health, being stuck, in not in the best health? Do you have any advice for those people?
I would say I was there at one point. Health was something that, well, my heart's beating right now. I'm awake and I'm not laying up in a hospital somewhere, so I must be doing all right. And yeah, that's true, but it could be better. And if it could be better, why not go for it? I think this is something that if you're going to invest in your health, it's going to be a leap of faith, and it's going to be a trust the process thing. But it's going to be faith that's well placed, and it's going to be something that, you know, it's not just going to make you feel a little bit better. It will be life changing. So I would ask that, you know, if you're considering even trying to go to the gym or just make your life better, start small, but make the commitment to yourself, because taking care of your health is a form of self-respect. And if you want to improve your self-respect, if you want to improve your self-worth, this is where you start. And I would absolutely encourage you to start here.
Nice. Yeah, thank you, Tristan. I think those were my like last questions. Do you have anything to add? Maybe some last words.
Yeah, no, I want to thank you personally, for everything that you have done. I know getting into this, you know, the program is Fit Mindset, and you know, it's two pieces to it. It's the physical part, but it's also the mental part. You know, you could be 100% there, present at the gym, you're going, but you might be screaming and cursing in your head all the way through, and you really hate it. But I just want to thank you for emphasizing both parts, the inside and the outside, because that's something that I feel like a lot of trainers and a lot of programs miss. That you could post all the motivational quotes and stuff that you want, but without talking to you personally about, you know, these are the mental health things that I'm working on. You encourage me to be kind to myself. You encourage me to focus on one thing at a time, to focus on the inputs. Don't worry if you don't see the outputs just yet. It's not your fault. It's not a fault at all. It's just the process. You know, that, you know, when I feel like I'm making progress and then I fall behind and I feel like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this, I get encouragement from you. I get encouragement from, you know, the people that are in the community. I get advice on, you know, what to eat. Should I eat steak or chicken today? Should I, you know, is it okay if I go to this restaurant? Is pizza okay to eat? Just getting knowledge about what I'm putting into my body. I feel like you've covered every aspect of things that I've always wondered, was too scared to ask, didn't know who to ask, was confused about. And so I really appreciate you being able to, and you also don't just throw a document at us and say, here, read this, and I'm going to go away on a beach somewhere while you take care of your workouts. You know, you're actually there with us on the phone each week on videos. You know, let's review your progress. You know, what have you gone through? Do you have any questions? You know, really prodding and trying to probe exactly what we need out of it. So this is a, I would say it's not a one size fits all program, but it's every person can be adapted to, and you've shown that. And so I just want to thank you for providing that, for your time, for your knowledge, your effort, and honestly, just, you know, reminding me that I am human, that I make mistakes, and that it's okay. It's okay to not beat myself up over it. It's part of the process. And yeah, so thank you for helping me improve my physical and mental health.
Yeah, man, for sure, and that's all on you. You know, that's you. I just like give like some system to implement, right, and then try to guide you. But all the things you're currently at, you have done that, you know, because that's on you. So you have done actually really good job. And yeah, you're right. You know, my goal is not that you or other clients or myself, we are like bodybuilders. You know, that's not the goal. Again, like my goal is that we are the best versions of ourselves, right? In our day-to-day lives, and just yeah, maybe each of one of us as well have different goals. You know, one wants to do this, one wants to look that. You know, and yeah, I think that's the best part of it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, again, thank you for your time, Tristan. It was really great call, man. Really appreciate for your time, honesty, and yeah, your progress so far. And excited to see where you're gonna be in the next 6 months or 1 year as well.
Me too.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.